Garden of Memories. Amani's world shattered on a rainy afternoon. One moment she was laughing, surrounded by the warmth of family, her husband's smile lighting up the room, her son's laughter echoing through the halls. The next moment they were gone, taken by a cruel twist of fate, a tragic accident that left her standing alone amidst ruins of memories. Grief wrapped itself around her like a suffocating fog. Days bled into nights, nights into weeks. She wandered through the empty house, her fingers brushing against toys left behind, photos frozen in time. The silence was unbearable, a cruel reminder of all she had lost. Friends came and went, their words well-meaning but hollow. "Be strong, Amani, time heals all wounds." But how could time heal this? How could she find strength when every breath was a reminder of their absence? There were days she couldn't leave her bed, days when tears were the only words she could speak. She begged for answers, pleaded for relief, screamed into the darkness. But no answer came. Only silence, only pain. One evening, she found herself at the edge of the lake where they once picnicked, her husband teaching their son to skip stones. The memories crashed into her, wave after wave. She sank to her knees, the cold water touching her fingertips. "Why?" she whispered, her voice breaking. "Why did you leave me?" But then she looked up, and for the first time in months she noticed the sky. It was ablaze with colors, fiery oranges, tender pinks, bold purples. It was beautiful, breathtaking even, and in that moment, she realized that the world hadn't ended, even though hers had. Life was still moving, still changing, still full of color. Her family was gone, but she remained, and as long as she was alive, their love lived on within her. Slowly, she began to rebuild. It was painful, every step heavy, but she moved forward. She visited the lake often, not to mourn, but to remember. She volunteered at the local orphanage, reading stories to children who longed for love, just as she longed for her own. She found purpose in giving, healing in helping others. She planted a garden in their memory, each bloom a tribute to her husband's laughter, her son's dreams. She laughed again. She cried again, and slowly, she found herself living again. Not the same life she once knew, but a new one, different, scarred but still beautiful. Seasons of healing. Seasons changed, and Amani's garden flourished. Each petal held a memory, vibrant sunflowers for her husband's infectious laughter, delicate lilies for her son's curious spirit. It became her sanctuary, a place where grief and love coexisted. Here, she spoke to them, shared her days, her triumphs, her struggles, and somehow she felt them near, in the rustling leaves and the gentle breeze. One afternoon, while tending to the flowers, she heard a small voice. "Your garden is so beautiful. Can I help?" She looked up to find a little girl with wide, curious eyes and messy braids. Her name was Zuri, an orphan from the shelter where Amani volunteered. Amani smiled, her heart softening. "Of course. These flowers need love just like we do." Zuri became her shadow, visiting every day, her laughter filling the once silent garden. Together they planted new seeds, watered dreams, and watched life bloom. In Zuri's innocent questions and bright spirit, Amani found healing. She saw her son's curiosity, felt her husband's warmth. But love also meant opening herself to pain again. One evening, as they sat under the fading sun, Zuri asked, "Why do you look sad sometimes?" Amani hesitated, the words tangled with emotion. But she knew she had to share her truth, to honor her lost loves. "I lost people I love very much," she whispered. "But I carry them here." She pointed to her heart, and here, she gestured to the blooming garden. Zuri hugged her, tiny arms offering comfort far beyond her years. "Then they're not really gone. They're flowers now." Tears filled Amani's eyes, but for the first time, they were not just tears of sorrow. They were tears of gratitude, of healing. The Garden of Memories. Inspired by Zuri's wisdom, Amani began to share her story, not just with the little girl, but with others at the orphanage and in her community. She organized gatherings in the garden, inviting people to plant flowers for their loved ones lost. It became a place of remembrance, of healing, of hope. Through her pain, Amani discovered purpose. She founded the Garden of Memories, a sanctuary for those grieving, a place to remember, to heal, to bloom again. People came from near and far, planting love and hope with every seed. One evening, as she watched the sunset with Zuri by her side, Amani felt a peace she hadn't known in years. The colors danced across the sky, vibrant and alive. She closed her eyes, her heart whispering a silent prayer of gratitude. She had learned to live again, to love again, to find beauty in the brokenness. And in that moment, she knew her journey wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving, about using her pain to plant hope in others. Her family's legacy lived on, not just in the garden, but in every heart she touched. Amani's scars remained, but they were proof of her journey, her courage, her love. She was broken but not defeated, and in her survival she found victory. Moral lesson: even in the deepest sorrow, there is a seed of hope waiting to bloom. Our scars tell our stories. Our pain fuels our purpose. And through love, we find healing. Life may break us, but it also gives us the courage to rise, to rebuild, and to bloom again.